get started. We're a little after noon now, and as people join, we'll let them in on the call. So Experience Talks is a monthly chat hosted by the INCubator at Hamilton County Business Development Center. And we bring in industry experts.
My hometown.
Whoop, whoop. We're bringing experts to give advice, and right now we focus May on motivation. And I couldn't think of anyone better to motivate us this month than Darrell Freeman, who is truly an inspiration. He's got on his Iron Man shirts.
10-time Iron Man.
How many? 10?
10. Yeah.
Darrell, I barely made it through you know what, I'm not even, we're recording. I am an Iron Man competitor. I'll receive that. I'm not a finisher yet like you, and definitely haven't finished 10. But we should talk about it. I can do it. I'm going to get back out there. That was the best and hardest day of my life. I loved it though. But let's talk about, we can jump right into being motivated. We can start with Iron Man. Like, I mean, statistically, people don't even get to the line to compete, and you've done 10 of them. Okay?
Yes.
And so can we talk about, like, what kind of person competes in, like, the toughest triathlon in the world?
Normal people. Yeah. Normal people.
Okay.
Normal people, just willing to go the distance, willing to put it all out on the line, just like entrepreneurs. So those of you who don't know me, I'm Darrell Freeman. I am from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm the first person in my family to go to college. Either my parents graduated from high school. I tell you all that to tell you that it doesn't matter how you start or when you start, who your parents are, that you can be successful. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And so probably the reason why I'm on this call is I've had some success in business. In 1991, I started a company called Zycron in the office the size of a closet with $2,000 in savings and credit cards that belonged to my wife. And so had no previous business experience, no previous entrepreneurship experience. Grew that company from one person to about 300 people, from about $10,000 in sales to mid 40-something million in sales over the next 25 years. And you know, every day I would go into the office, I get told no every day, a whole bunch of times. And so one of the things I want you all to know on this call is getting no's are good, because if you're getting a bunch of no's, that means you're still asking. That means you're still asking. And also it means that buried inside the chain of no's will eventually be one yes. So that's how I grew Zycron, is I got a whole bunch of no's. So I've gotten more no's than I've gotten yeses. And it's because of those no's that I am where I am now. So built that company, sold it to BG Staffing a little over 3 years ago for $23 million. So I had $2,000 in it, got $23 million out. The point I want to make is that it's all possible. We can do it. You can do it. Everybody on this call can do it, but you got to put the work in. You got to be determined. You got to be focused. And I'll talk just briefly about, I said I had $2,000 in savings and a bunch of my wife's credit cards. That's true, but I also had some other things that people don't count at the bank as assets. So number one, determination. You got to be determined to win. And so every day I would go into the office and get told no, I was still determined to win. I was determined to be successful. So you've got to be determined. Determination is an asset. You can't overlook that. So even if you don't have any money, even if you don't have any relationships, even if you don't have any banking relationships, even if you don't have any clients, even if nobody is buying, if you have determination, that's an asset. And so right now we're in a COVID crisis. You know, some people say, well, nobody's buying. It's really tough out there. I'm running low on cash. Some people call that crisis. I call that a startup. This is the perfect time for a startup, because this time right here is kind of like when you're starting a new company. So determination is a huge asset. And then another asset that I use to start Zycron is belief. Belief is a huge asset. If you've got belief in what you're doing, when you get told no every day, it won't matter. If you believe that you can be successful, those things will not matter. So regardless of what was going on in the early days of Zycron, when people were telling me no, when people were questioning my ideas, when people were questioning why did I quit my cushy corporate job, they did not deter me from believing that I could win. And so the great thing about determination, the great thing about belief is they don't cost you anything to have them. We all can have determination. We all can have belief in ourselves and belief in what we're doing. And belief is kind of a strange thing, because if you believe in yourself and if you believe in your service, if you believe in your product, nothing can stop you. And you can have the craziest product. And I always use this as an example. There were some people a number of years ago came out with this product called a rock, a pet rock. Now, in my mind, it was just a rock. It was just a rock. But somebody believed that if they could draw a couple eyes, a nose, and a mouth, a smiley face on a rock, that it would become a pet rock. And they sold tons of pet rocks. Now, if they didn't believe that, could they have done it? The answer to that question is no. So if you believe enough in your product, believe enough in your service, you can win. So belief is a huge asset. So if you look at your balance sheet and you don't have any money and you don't have any relationships, you got determination, you got belief, I'll take that. Because if I got determination and belief, eventually I'm going to add value and I'm going to receive funds for those things. Then the other thing you got to have, even in a startup like I did with Zycron, even during the crisis time right now with the COVID-19, you got to be willing to persevere. And so sometimes what perseverance means is that you keep going regardless of what the circumstance is, that you persevere. Perseverance, it's not that folks aren't made to win. It's just that sometimes they quit before they win. And so persevering is not quitting, not giving up. It's always going the extra mile. And even when you get set back, when you get knocked down, when you get trampled upon, you got to be determined to get back up. And so at Zycron, I got knocked down a lot. I got pushed down a lot, but I persevered. I got told no a lot, but I persevered. And so perseverance is an asset that we all have, that we can use, that we can wake up with every day. And so, now people see me and say, well, Darrell Freeman's a real successful guy. And there's probably a little tiny bit of truth to that. But what I am is a person that's been determined, a person that has perseverance, a person that believes in myself. And so I've never lacked those things. And the good thing about those things is you could be born in the ghetto and have determination, perseverance, and belief. You could be born anywhere and have those assets. And so,
now, Darrell, wait. Now, I have to interrupt you. Now, you said a tiny bit of success. We're not eating humble pie today, okay? But I literally just saw a post where you flew in your plane, PPE supplies.
Yes.
Flew them from somewhere to Nashville, right?
Yes.
I have seen your posts about flying to Puerto Rico, flying supplies out there in your plane.
Yes.
That's, I know we talk about success being one. That's huge. That's the kind of stuff that we aspire to get to be able to do once we gain so much success. That's not a tiny bit. That's a lot.
Well, okay. I believe that, where I grew up in Chattanooga, we needed a lot of help. My family needed a lot of help. I needed a lot of help. And so one of the things that I believe in is that what you have is only justified by what you share. And so it doesn't do me any good to have an airplane if I'm not willing to help somebody else with it. And because of that, having an airplane, I have flown to Haiti after the earthquakes in Haiti. I've flown to Puerto Rico 3 times after the hurricanes down there. I've flown to the Bahamas 6 times after the hurricanes down there. Flew into Katrina, flew to Hurricane Mike. But all those things because I believe what you have is only justified by what you share. And so my wife and I and my family, we're very giving people. But I want to go back to the starting of Zycron and how you can win. And so determination, perseverance, belief, those are assets that we all have. And so Those are the things that I use. Those things were more valuable to me as a entrepreneur. They would be more valuable to you as an entrepreneur than actual money. Mm-hmm. Because if you have those things and you add value to the marketplace, you will receive money as a result. Now, my goal as an entrepreneur was not to become rich. My goal was to be helpful. And so when you're an entrepreneur, what you do is you help people solve problems. And if you solve their problems, and then they'll pay you for that. And so my goal was to be helpful. And so it's about once a month I get an email from somebody wanting to teach me how to become rich and how to become an entrepreneur, and they want to charge me. But the whole theme is we're going to help you get rich. That was not my goal. My goal was to be helpful. Mm-hmm. And so as an entrepreneur, you got to figure out how you can be helpful, because if you help a company, if you help a Fortune 500 company solve their problems or help them solve the riddle, and then you'll get paid for that. And so, but those are the principles that I started Zycron with. And then, the underlying principle to all that we've done over the years, is the principle of integrity. Because if you're going to stay in business a long period of time, you must have integrity. And so that was the bedrock upon which Zycron was founded, the bank was founded, and all the other companies that I'm involved with. And so that's kind of how my career started, and it's where I am now. But those are the basic principles. I just recently, last week, bought the majority ownership in a company called S3 Recycling Solutions. Mm-hmm. And the principle there is, I buy companies, invest in companies based on the people. And what I did at Zycron was I invested in people, and I brought the best people to the team. I surrounded myself with people who were way smarter than me. And the company really took off when I fired myself. And so another principle there is make sure that you understand that you got to have the best people possible. So I just bought up majority ownership in the company because of the leadership of the people in the company. One of the things as A-type personalities, entrepreneurs, oftentimes we believe we're the best person for the job. And I can guarantee there's 7 billion people in the world, and there's somebody out there better than you, Alexis, to do that job. And so, surround yourself with the best people. And right now in the COVID-19 times, she wanted me to talk a little bit about that. This is just like being in a startup. I mean, times are tough, but you got to wake up every day grinding. You got to work up every day working hard. So if it took you 100 calls during regular times to get 2 customers, in the COVID times, it may take you 300 calls. And so it's not that you can still get those 2 customers. It's just going to take a little bit more effort. It's going to take a little bit more perseverance. It's going to take a little bit more determination, a little bit more belief. It's going to take longer hours. Maybe you're not going to work 10 hours. Maybe you're going to work 20 hours. But there are going to be people during this period of time, their businesses are going to grow and prosper because they're going to go the extra distance to win. And they're not going to let the fact that we're in a crisis, a financial crisis, an economic crisis, a healthcare crisis, they're not going to let any of those things stop them from winning. And then here's the other thing that you got to have. You got to be a winner. There's some people that's going to win regardless. You got to wake up every day believing that you are going to be a winner. Not that you're not going to lose, but you got to believe that you're a winner. But just because I lost a lot doesn't mean I wasn't a winner. And so I always felt that any circumstance I went into that I was going to win. That didn't mean I did win every time, but I believed that I was. And even when I lost, I still felt like I was a winner and I was going to go back the next day and try it again. So with all those things said, these are principles I've used to grow a business, to buy businesses, to start things from nothing. These are just some of the basic principles. And if you don't have the cash and you don't have the credit cards or access to the bank, if you got these principles, you can win. You can win. And so now I'll open it up for questions.
Linda, welcome. I saw you tune in.
She just put you on the spot.
I know.
Because I know Linda always has good questions.
But so I was listening to what you were saying. So like you, I go into things winning, right? With the anticipation of winning.
Yes.
But I'm having to relearn some things. I own a business solutions company. I do entrepreneur coaching, and
yes.
I teach whole workshops and classes and things. And so for me, I have the first, and not only anymore, but the first online entrepreneur training class here in Chattanooga. I'm
nice.
certified by Kaufman. And so when I'm sending out ads, because now we're in this online, everything's online, and we have to be in this online era. One of the coaches that I listened to the other day did a mind switch on me. He said, when I put my ads up, I never put my ads up thinking that they're going to do what I want them to do. I put them up to get them started, realizing that I have to tweak them and I have to do some work. So this is totally new, because when I put my ads up, I want it start off winning.
Yeah.
I'm old school, but in this because of all the algorithms and how things are working online, how have you learned to adjust to this whole online, global, national network, whatever?
Well, it's just a different playing field. It's just it's a baseball field now with 4 bases or 5 bases instead of 3. It just requires more work. It requires more effort. It requires listening to the marketplace and adjusting your business accordingly. You mentioned you put your ads up thinking that they're going to be perfect when you do it, and they're not. You got to listen to the marketplace, and you got to adapt. This is a new economy, a new norm. And so as an entrepreneur, particularly as a small entrepreneur, it's really great for you because you're flexible. When you're small, you can be nimble and be flexible. And it's great that you found out that your ads needed to be adjusted because you're small enough to make those adjustments. And so, again, I hate to keep going back to determination, belief, winning, perseverance, and those things that take you through a crisis like no other 4 assets will. So I've adjusted by, letting the people know who, for example, I'm the company that bought my company. I'm their managing director for Nashville. And I'm just telling everybody, hey, we've got to win regardless. I mean, we've got to find new clients, service new clients, but it's going to require additional effort. As again, where it took 100 calls to get 2 clients, it might take 400 calls now to get 2 clients. Where it took 3 ads in your case to get a client, it may take 200 ads to get a client. It's just that, but you got to stay focused on winning. You got to stay focused on believing in your business. You got to stay focused on being determined, because there are going to be enough folks who are going to fail in this circumstance. And that's the other thing you got to be willing to do. You got to be willing to put some ads out there and have them fail. My career, people say Darrell's successful, and they equate that with some kind of monetary term, which is true. But I have failed more times than I have succeeded. I'm talking about probably 10 to 1. I have failed more times than I have succeeded. But sometimes what happens is people allow their failures to stand on top of them. But in my case, I stood on top of my failures. So I always say that when I walk into the room, I'm like 59 feet tall because I got a whole bunch of failures I'm walking on top of.
Yeah.
And so you got to be willing during this time to fail more, fail often, but know that at the end of the day, there's a chance that you can win. It's a chance that you can succeed. Success doesn't mean you hadn't failed. Success does not mean that. Success means that you failed a whole bunch and you learned from those failures, and eventually you won. The company that I started, Zycron, it was a okay company in 1991. But through a whole bunch of failures, it got better every year. So when you fail, you learn. And when you learn, you can make your product or your service better. So don't quit placing those ads. You keep placing those ads. If they're not producing the results you want, you're failing, tweak those ads, learn from those failures, and come up with the ads that work for you and work for your business. So, but you got to keep pushing forward.
Thank you.
I have to say that failure is another word for it is feedback.
Yes.
Feedback.
Painful feedback in some cases.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Carla, I see you. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
I was so excited to see that you were going to be talking today, and I apologize for coming late. I had my other thing ran over, and I turned off my video while I was fixing my lunch. I really like what you said, Darrell, about stand on top of your failures and don't let them stand on top of you. There was something else you said a few minutes ago when I was in the kitchen. I didn't have my notebook and I didn't write it down, but I think that, you know, right now we're all trying to pivot, and it's emotionally exhausting.
Yes, it is.
Constantly trying to pivot and to be constantly disoriented. And I feel sometimes like I am swimming in molasses. And I have a fantastic new employee who started at the end of last year, and she's like swimming through water, and she's getting all this stuff done. And
that's awesome.
It is. She's wonderful, but I just feel like everything I do, it takes me so long to get it done. And
perfect.
I heard a great term recently, Carla, to describe that in this context is decision fatigue.
Yes.
And I thought that really kind of captured me. It's like it is, because you're just constantly having to decide, make decisions, and which way to go, and not knowing what's ahead. That's the hardest part for me, is not knowing what comes next, but trying to do your best to anticipate, predict, and just do the best you can. But it is exhausting.
And we don't know what's going to come next, but we do know this: if we keep moving forward, we'll be better off if we set still.
No doubt.
We don't know what's
no doubt.
Yeah, we don't know what's coming next, but we do know what's coming if we do nothing. Well,
right.
We do know what's coming if we stop swimming, even though we're swimming like we're in molasses. If you stop, that's a problem.
Downstream you go.
Right. So you gotta keep going hard at it. You gotta keep working at it. And I'm going to tell you that success is worth it. Whatever trials and tribulations you're going through to grow your company, to grow your business, to get new clients, I'm here to tell you success is worth it because I've experienced it. And the part about success that I like the most is when you're successful, you can help other people. And so, when I'm talking to you today, I'm not talking to you about something I hope to do, something that I want to do. I'm talking to you about something that I've done and that I know works.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking to you about a blueprint that I haven't made out yet. I'm talking to you about the blueprint that I've used. And so these things work. And so keep swimming in molasses.
Well, now I remembered what it was you said that was so useful, Darrell. When you said you didn't set out to make money, you set out to be useful.
Mm-hmm.
I set out to be helpful. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so people chase money. That's not what I did. I chased opportunities to help customers.
Right. And so right now, the Chattanooga Technology Council, some of the pivots we're needing to do are around fundraising. We do have to raise money, even if it's tough right now. And really what you're saying was when you set out to be helpful, that was the value proposition. What you had to offer somebody in order to be helpful to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That was your value proposition. And the fact that you were able to monetize that was the business end of that. But I think,
yes.
When you said that, was making me think I need to sit down and think again, how is Chatec being helpful to our member companies?
Yes.
And how, yeah. So
because the help that they needed prior to the COVID may not be the same help they need now. They may need a different kind of help. Even the member companies that are in Chatec and even the large corporations, in child tech, they may need you to help them differently now.
Yeah.
And so.
And I asked them that very early on. I sent out some emails to some CIOs early on, and they're like, we don't need anything right now. And I think, I wonder if I would get a different response from them right now, particularly since now when companies are talking about when are they coming back on site, a lot of them, bigger companies are really coming back quite slowly, very deliberately, very cautiously.
So one of the things that you may do is, as opposed to asking them what you can do for them, maybe you should come up with 4 or 5 things that you believe will be helpful to them. Send them a menu. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Send them a menu of things that you believe will be helpful to them. Because you gave them an easy out when you said, how can I help you? You gave them an easy out. But if you give them 4 or 5 things that you believe will be helpful to them, then they may say, oh, yeah, I like number 3.
I like that idea.
It's free.
You're incredible.
I'm not going to say that, but yeah. Yeah. But that's what I would do in these times. But keep moving forward.
So there was something else I wanted to ask you about, Darrell. You said you hired a lot of people and then you fired yourself. Can you talk about your decision to move from wherever your position was as head of the company to passing that on to another professional?
Yeah. So I guess about 13 years in, 14, 15 years in, the company's revenues flattened out, and I had a great team. And when I looked in the mirror, it wasn't them, it was me. And so it was a decision driven by the numbers, driven by the fact that the company was not growing anymore, and I had taken it as far as I could take it. And so I knew then it was time for me to step aside. And oftentimes entrepreneurs, and particularly founders, we stay around too long. We stay around long enough to kill the business. And so we call that founders gone wild. And so I didn't want to be a founder gone wild. I could have stayed stayed the CEO forever, but I chose to get out. But it was driven by the numbers. And you got to remember, as an entrepreneur, you become the CEO of a company by default, not because of your intellect, and not because some search committee found you, not because you got the educational background to do it. You became the CEO by default. Nobody appointed you CEO. And so nobody appointed me the CEO of Zycron. And so when my abilities ran their course, it was time for me to get out. And that was the best decision I made in Zycron. And I wish I had made it about 6 years sooner.
Wow.
But most entrepreneurs, we stay around too long because we believe we're the best to do it, and we're not.
That's a good word.
Yeah. Victoria, what you got?
I'm just enjoying watching this. I don't really have any questions, but I appreciate this. It's really beneficial. It's giving me ideas for future talks that we need to have with our clients, for sure. It's
good. Yeah, figure out how to help them.
Yeah.
Figure out how to help them. And you'll fail at some, and you'll succeed at some. You'll probably fail at more than you'll succeed, but the successes are bigger.
Yeah. Can we
successes are bigger?
And when, in order to win, you have to make a tough decision. Some people are right now having to downsize their companies or furlough or let go employees to win or stay afloat.
Yes.
Can we talk through or encourage people who may be at that crossroads right now?
So, unfortunately, when clients quit buying, your revenues decline, and you still have the same amount of expenses. You got to reduce expenses. And so, cash in a business is like blood in your veins.
Mm-hmm.
And your job as an entrepreneur is to make sure that you keep blood in your veins. And if your head count is too high during this period of time, what you need to do quickly is to furlough the people that you don't need at this moment. Hopefully you'll bring them back at a later point. But your job is to conserve the cash. You need to conserve the cash, because without cash, it's very difficult to operate a business. And your job as an entrepreneur is to conserve the cash. Also, during this time, Alexis, you had me pull up the 10 things that I would do. The other thing is, if you have a bank line of credit, draw all the cash off the line of credit and put that money in your bank, because banks may tighten up and take your line of credit from you. Reduce all your expenses, not only just people, but all those things that you can do without. Reduce your expenses as much as possible. But you gotta be lean in these times, but you gotta work twice as hard in these times. And so, but I want everybody to know that you can win. I mean, I'm involved with a couple companies right now that they've pivoted, and they're making money. They're not making as much as they used to, but they're making money, and they've not had to furlough anybody. So there are companies that are winning. I'm involved with a company called Slim and Husky's Pizza. We bought so far. We bought 3 buildings together, and they're operating several stores. But they pivoted to takeout and takeout and carry out and delivery, and they're doing well with that model. And so when the country opens back up, they're going to have another model that they can use in addition to the dine-in. So they're going to come out of this thing stronger than what they were when they went in. So just believe that you can win. But it's going to be tough. It's tough. But entrepreneurship is tough. Entrepreneurship is it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done. It's tough. And it's tough. I mean, if you got a family that you got to feed, and you got kids, and you got everything riding on this, everything's riding on your business, and everybody's, you got demands from everybody, financial demands from everybody, and you got to make it happen. That's a tough position to be in. And so whenever I meet another entrepreneur, I have a tremendous amount of respect for them, because I know how hard it is to create a product or service and go out and try to sell it, or go out and sell it and have employees. At one point I had 300 employees. Wow. Payroll was $1 million every 2 weeks. And so that's 300 families who were depending on me to make sure that they had, paychecks in their bank accounts every 2 weeks. And so entrepreneurship is tough. And so that's why I don't sell it as easy. It's tough, but with determination, belief, perseverance, I mean, you can make it happen, but it is tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
So Darrell, since I was late, did you run down 10 things that you recommended as an entrepreneur at the very beginning? Because what you just said right now about pulling cash out of line of credit and putting in your bank, that was very interesting that you said that. What else you got?
Did you already do that?
No, I'm not, but because Jotech doesn't have a line of credit, but
well, that means you should go get one.
Why does a nonprofit want a line of credit?
Because you're a business, and what if you run out of cash? I'm on the board of 20 nonprofits with lines of credits.
Really?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, you should have a line of credit. Reduce your expenses as much as you can. And then I had number 4. I hadn't gone through these with you all, but number 4, go to your landlords and your creditors if you don't own the building. Ask for reduced rent or delay in rent or deferral in rent. Do that. Also, if you have any loans at the bank, ask if you can do interest only versus principal and interest. Ask if you can do that. Realign the business for the new normal. For example, the Slim and Husky guys went from, dining in to carry out, delivery, Uber Eats, et cetera, et cetera. So realign the business for the new normal that's now. Reduce your prices so that customers may be intrigued to buy again. You may not be able to sell your product for $10 right now. You may have to reduce the price down to $7 to entice customers to buy. Here's a big one. Focus on making sales. Don't focus on the crisis. Don't focus on the crisis. And so you got to focus on the business. Don't focus on the sales. And then these last two may not apply to you, but make sure you have good insurance going forward. I kind of wrote this because at the time of the crisis in Nashville, we also had tornadoes. And people found out that they didn't have good insurance. They didn't have business interruption insurance. And so a lot of people set up GoFundMe accounts, and GoFundMe is not an insurance. GoFundMe is not insurance. And so that was number 9. And then number 10, be transparent with everybody on your team. Let them know what the circumstance is. Let them know, where you are financially. Let them know what the possibilities are. Let them know what you're working on. Let them know how they can be helpful to you to turn this crisis into a winning circumstance. So those are the 10 things that I kind of went through when the crisis first happened, I guess back in March.
I know it seems so long ago, but it just 7.5 months ago. Yeah. So, and the other thing, you can't, it's hard to prepare for a crisis in a crisis. You got to always be prepared for a crisis. And so, Carla, you getting that $100,000 credit line, even though you don't use it, when the next crisis happens and all your customers, all your renewals don't happen or whatever, and you need just a couple months to make it through, you use your credit line for that. You can use your credit line for that. So, but just because you're a nonprofit doesn't mean you don't need a credit line.
I guess I feel like my revenue stream is, well, I just worry about it. And I worry about taking out money that we couldn't pay back. I guess everybody worries about that.
Yeah, everybody worries about that. But, when you're in a crisis, it's not, your worry won't be about taking out money that you can't pay back. Your worry will be about, can I make payroll? You'll worry about, can you pay the bank back? That you'll worry about that, but not as much.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to keep your doors open, you'll borrow money at a higher percent than you would in a normal circumstance, right, Dan?
Yeah.
I mean, that won't be your worry. So.
That's good.
All righty. Anybody else have any more questions?
Linda, I can't believe you don't have at least one more question. So let me tell you about Linda, Darrell. Linda and I have worked together at Launch Chattanooga. You came and spoke to them at one time. She's a facilitator, and has helped dozens of business owners around town work through their idea and launch. And she does some consulting. She is the business plug. I'm the startup baby, and she's the business plug. And so she hosts workshops and things like that. She's been doing some online, but I'm surprised she don't have any more questions.
No. So I'm taking it all in because I get that. So I attended a workshop yesterday, and I go to try to see if there is an opportunity for me to do classes for different parts of Northeastern Tennessee. And the whole conversation was, you need to get this loan. You need to get this loan. You got to have this loan. You need to get this loan. And that's just not where I'm at. I'm trying to get business.
Well, and Linda, I agree with you there. I'm gonna put on my banker's hat. Actually, I do have on my banker's hat. The best time to get a bank loan is when you don't need it.
You don't need one. I get that. I do get that. I do get that. But so I worked in corporate America up until October of last year.
Yeah.
And then now I'm full-time entrepreneur. And I want to work. Like my whole thing is not to put my future in debt just to have debt. I mean, that's not where I am. What I would rather do is, I'm like you, I want to serve the people. And I do know that right now is a great time for people to start thinking about secondary incomes, like at every level. And so that's my thing is trying to foster conversations where you have these decision makers, and instead of them trying to force debt upon me, let's talk about how can we get the people who need us what they need.
You may have just been in the wrong room.
I was in the wrong city.
Yeah,
that was 20 tables and they were all singing the same song.
Yeah.
so yeah. But it's how to get people access to the education, the training they need so that they can, because you have people out here with these trades that know how to do all these great things. But my struggle is trying to get decision makers to make the decision to take their mind off the loans for a minute and let's start serving the people.
Well, yeah. So if I were in your shoes, that you were trying to teach people business principles, how to grow their businesses and to coach people, I would just jump in my car and I just ride around Chattanooga. And all those small business people you see working on houses, doing brickwork, doing driveways, doing painting, doing various cutting grass, lawn care workers. Those are potential clients.
Well, see, all of those are working. The people who I want to help are at home trying to figure it out, and they don't know how to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know how you get that crowd.
Yeah, exactly. But those are the ones who need me, because helping them find hope again and get back up and use those trades so they can be out there doing the grass and doing the roofs and it's enough out here for everybody. Especially we had the tornadoes too. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
You're right.
Yeah, so there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But I want to reach the people who are sitting at home feeling hopeless. Gotcha. And so that's why I'm talking with decision makers.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
So that's my struggle. That's where I'm at. That's why I'm not asking questions.
Keep pushing.
Yeah.
Keep pushing. Yeah. Maybe you need to have you need some hope meeting. Well, actually, you can't have any meetings right now unless it's online.
Right.
So, okay.
Or it's less than 10 people, according to the
Yes.
Yeah. You can come and have one at the incubator. We're opening back up June 1st.
All right. I'm happy to come down and chat anytime.
We have to get you back in the city. I don't know how often you're here, Darrell, but.
Well, I just joined the board of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
Oh yeah, I did. I just read that.
Yeah. They got a great team over there.
They really do. I don't connect with them as often as I should, but maybe I'll find another excuse.
Yeah.
I'm constantly impressed with their leadership at all levels. IT and their IT people speak very highly of the top corporate leadership. And how prepared
the first time I met the CEO, I sat across the table from J.D. Hickey, and he was kind of going over the Blue Cross Blue Shield business with me and some other folks around the table. And I said to myself, this guy's a genius. And I said, but the cool part about it is he doesn't act like one. I mean, he knows the business, but he doesn't go around saying, I'm the expert. He knows his business, and one of the smartest CEOs I had ever been around, but very humble as well. So they got a great shop over there, and they're doing good work and trying to balance the financial piece with the helping people piece, and it's a constant balance. So, yeah.
I should let you know that I worked there 26 years.
Who? Oh, good. Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
So you know them.
I do know them.
Good.
Well, so we have, it's 12:49. So I want to honor your time. I took some notes while you were talking, and I picked up on 4 things. Tell me if I missed something. Number one thing you need is determination. Number 2 is belief. 3, perseverance. And 4, integrity should be the bedrock of your business.
Yes. That's it.
That's it. Nailed it. And I have circled all like at least 12 times. The goal is to be helpful.
The goal is to be helpful.
Yeah.
Be helpful.
Yeah. That was powerful. And what else did I get? Oh, what you have is justified by what you share.
Only justified by what you share.
Only justified by what you share. Got it.
Yep.
We're going to share that.
And
I'll be flying some COVID stuff on Sunday.
That's amazing.
You have to add determination as an asset too.
Determination.
Asset. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. We'll put that in our recap notes.
Well, this has been awesome chatting with you all.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you for spending your lunch hour with us.
Thank you for having me, and look forward to you all winning.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darrell.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Darrell. Good to reconnect.
Okay.
See you all.
Bye, y'all.